I'm working on the command car today. I have a couple command cars. I have a WC6 half-ton Dodge and I have a WC23 half-ton Dodge. Specifically, I'm working on the tailgates. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of an overview of the tailgates, how they assemble, and so that you can see what kind of repairs I'm doing. Hopefully this helps you. Okay, stand by. Okay, so this tailgate here is off my WC23. It's in reasonable condition. I haven't started working on that. I'm actually working on the WC6 right now. But I just wanted to point out a couple things. First of all, these things are really heavy. It probably weighs 150 pounds, okay? The tailgate itself is an outer skin. There's an outer skin here. Here's an example of one I have fabricated for the WC6. Now, on three sides of it, the edge is double folded. So there's a fold, if you look closely, right there. And that fold is 3/8 of an inch wide. It's basically folded over and hammered down, and then the edge is bent up again, and that second bend is a 1/2 inch. So that second bend right here up is a 1/2 inch. Now, fabricating this one, what I did was, because I cut the pieces by hand, I cut them a little bit oversized to make sure they were square. So once I did one edge, I measured across and I squared up the other side, and I did the other edge with a double fold. On the third edge, I chose not to do a double edge because I wanted to make sure it was sturdy. And what I did is I picked up some 1/2 inch 1/8 steel stock, and which was a nice straight piece. I took the excess of the side edge, I trimmed it, and I folded it in to make a lip, and then I tack welded in this strip on the inside, and then I basically welded the seam and cleaned it up. So you can see that's made a really nice seam. It gave me plenty of metal to weld to without blowing through the sheet metal. So what you have is the outer skin, and then if you look here, there is a inner skin panel. This whole panel piece spot welds in here to the outer skin on the back, on either side, I'm sorry. And then on the bottom, this piece actually angles. So you can kind of see the angle, okay, where it folds out from the truck. And this bottom flap has a little bit of about a 45-degree bend here, and spot welds to the fourth side of your outer skin, which does not have a fold. Okay? And that gives you your place where your hinge is going to attach. And this hinge is spot welded in on this inner frame. Okay, so that's basically how it assembles. A couple of things. These are where your chains hook up to hold the tailgate open. These are a little cast piece, which I'm going to need to get another one of. And then this is where your locks fit. Now the locks fit in a little housing. So this is the old outer skin for my WC6, and it was in really bad shape. You can kind of see that looking down the side how bad it was. However, the locks, I was able to take out the locks, and which I'll show you real quick. This is what the lock looks like, and it bolts in to this little frame in 4 locations. These are actually 3/16 screws, or I'm sorry, bolts with a coarse thread on them, about 1/2 inch long. So I'm gonna have to actually go online and find some of those. I've hit the local hardware stores and they don't have anything even close. So I'm gonna go online and order some of those because I don't have enough. But the way this works is it slides in here and then it bolts into place. Okay, now this little flange on this will actually slide in like this. It'll screw in there, and then it will, or actually I have it backwards. It'll screw in like this, and then the bolts go through the little frame. So what I'm going to do is, these are spot welded to the outer skin. I'm going to drill out the spot welds because these housings are still in good shape. I'll take measurements off of them and add them to my little measurement pad I have. But I'm going to transfer these, take them off and transfer them to the outer skin that I've already made. So I've already marked where they go. You can see in white the location, and then on this side you can see here, that's where they're going to fit on. And I'm going to spot weld those in place. That's my plan today. And that's the basics of how this goes together. So if you're going to restore this one, like when I go back and I'm going to restore this tailgate off my WC23, I'm going to have to go in here and I'm going to have to drill out the spot welds all along the sides here. Okay, then I'm probably going to have to go on the outer skin and drill out the spot welds down here, and that will separate the inner piece with hinge from the outer piece. And then at that point I can repair this dents and stuff here, because otherwise this one's in good shape. Got some rust through here, but that's an easy repair too. And then the hinge is in great shape. So really I'm just going to separate the 2 pieces. You can see the bend in the outer skin. I'm going to straighten all that out. That'll let me take the locks out. This lock isn't going to be salvageable. I can tell that already. But Midwest Military and Vintage Power Wagons both sell a replacement latch for this. I think it's like $150 bucks, I think, which is, I try to salvage them when I can. But anyway, so that shows you how that goes together. Looking on my WC6 inner frame, I'll go ahead and show you a couple parts. This is what the hinge looks like once you take it off. This one was in really bad shape, so I had to separate it completely, straighten it out. It was rusted tight, so I had to do a lot of work to try to loosen it up and get it moving. It does work now. And this is just POR 15 on it to protect it until I'm ready to spot weld it back in. So that's the hinge. As you can see, there's about a 40, well, it's not even a 45 degree. It's anyway, there's a bend here, and this part here is what spot welds to the inner frame of the tailgate. So I'll set that aside. I have my inner frame here for my WC6, which, here, I'll throw this back up. So this is the inner frame. It's obviously separate because I had to make my outer skin, but this fits down inside the lip. There's a little bit of space at the top here I'll have to look that, I'll measure it off my other one. I think it's 1 inch actually. But so this is not flush with the outer skin top. There's about a 1 inch difference here. This spot, once I make all these repairs, it'll spot weld in. The lock will go here, but you can see all this metal is missing. So I'll basically cut this out and put new metal in here, cut out the hole where the latch mechanism is going to come through. I'll have to repair this corner here. But the rest of this, I've been able to pretty much straighten. The major problem here was there's 3 hat channels inside that run, I'll show you shortly. And they were mostly separated from the outer skin. Now, if you look on this outer skin, there's some holes here. There's 4 holes. So something heavy was mounted on this, and that's why it was all bowed in. Maybe a radio pack or something, but you know, over time, that just put a lot of strain on it. You can see on the other side here, there's a little better how it fits in, and then it spot welds in place. Once you get it all together, it's very rigid. On this side, you can see a little better where the latch goes. Someone clearly cut this one out for whatever reason, and so I'll basically trim out this metal. I'll put in a new piece here and cut the slit for the latch. So these are the little cast pieces. These are riveted in, and there's a plate on the back, which I'll show you. So if you look on the inside, you can see this big L bracket here. On the other side is the riveted cast hooks. This here looks, here I'll measure it real quick, tell you how thick it is. So that's pretty robust. Then what you have on the inner skin is the open end of it has a fold here, which runs the length of the opening and around the corner. This fold here is a 1/2 inch. So that's typical to the other folds. That's a 1/2 inch. You have a hat channel up here on the edge, and it's interesting to note this hat channel actually slides up underneath this fold. They get compressed together and spot welded. This hat channel here had separated from it. I've already pushed it back up in there, hammered it flat, and threw a couple spot welds on there. I'm going to come through and put some more spot welds along the edge. I'll do that after I repair this other side here. These other hat channels, you got one in the center, and you can see here, well, you may not be able to see. See, I've got a little bit of play there. I got a bow in the center where this heavy thing was on. And what that's done is it's separated the hat channel here. So I'm going to do a little bit of heat work here and try to compress the metal a little bit and pull out that soup can dent that's in there. And then I'll spot weld down this hat channel, this center one. This one, you got a lower hat channel, and your hinge actually attaches here on the flap. You can see that this angled piece in the bottom on mine is just really pretty much totally trash. So you can look on the side here, on the side flap, and you can see where the angle is. Now these two sides do not weld together. They're bent and they're flush, but they're not attached. And I'm assuming that's for water drainage. So anyway, I'm going to have to repair this. Once that's done, the hinge will attach to this, and then it'll get spot welded into the skin itself. So I have a little bit of work ahead of me. As you can see, it's mostly sheet metal work, so it's not complex. What I am probably going to do is, this is obviously a weak point right here, is instead of coming back in with 18 gauge steel, because you can see the stress cracks, I'm probably going to cut me a piece of 16 gauge steel. I'll trim it right here at the edge because that seems to be where it's cracked, right where the bend is for the most part, except this one section here. And I'm going to put probably about a 1/2 inch bend in it with some overlap that I can spot weld into this outer skin, and then I'll weld it flush. Once I sand it, you know, clean up the welds and sand it, you won't be able to tell it. And this is all hidden once it's reassembled. But that'll add some strength to the bottom here where all the stress is. But anyway, so that's basically how the tailgate for the 1/2 ton Dodge is. I don't know if the 3/4 tons are similar. I don't have a 3/4 ton, and I haven't looked at one to see. But the 1/2 ton Dodge, that's how they go together. So hope this helps you out. So on the outer skin, there is your handles, your T-handles go in here. There's a backing plate on here, 3/8 inch steel, which here I'll post a picture of. That's what it looks like. This is welded, the backing plate is welded to the inside with 4 spot welds. You can see where I've marked them. So I'm going to drill them out so I can reuse the backing plate. This hole is 13/16. And then you're going to have, in the backing plate is, it's threaded. So the holes there, I'll have to look and see what the screw hole size is. Off the top of my head, I do not know. But anyway, I'm going to drill those out and save those backing plates for my new skin.